replacement for an iPhone store. Assemble interactive telephone app, encrypted Twitter.
Wait, we get to pick your idea?
Yeah.
No. You got to tell us what you're passionate about. This isn't us. This is you.
So
Number one idea, Alvin.
What?
Number one idea.
Okay. So iPhone and Android App Store, they cost 30% for developers, and especially iPhone store, it's you have to have $200 per country. So a lot of people, if you make less than $200 per country, you don't even get paid. So it's 100%. So you're developing for Steve Jobs for free. So I have a JavaScript that you can insert into an HTML5 app. So they don't. Apple doesn't advertise it, but if you write your app in HTML5 and you don't need some of the device things like shaking, if you write in HTML5, you can install that app straight from the web and use it offline. So the problem is you don't have any licensing capability. So I have an app, JavaScript that you insert into an HTML5 app that will provide licensing, and not just.
Oh, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just like not all of us in the room are engineers, so can you just like try to explain it in the way that like the non-engineers would get?
Sure. Like how do you, for example, an iPhone app you buy through the store, you can pay for it once, but you can't do subscription payments or per use payments. There's how you monetize your application. So in HTML5, in my system, you can do per month payment, it'll deactivate, or you can pay per use for certain things. Anyway, that's
Alvin, is it a plugin that people could use when they want to sell their application outside of the App Store? It's not It's not actually an App Store itself. It's a licensing.
I have an App Store also. There's a website also. There's a combination of a website that you can buy the app from, or you can try the app or buy the app, but also for them to be able to charge for it. Because once you can see the website. If it's an HTML5 app, I can just store it onto my phone and not to pay for it. But how do you block that? So I have a JavaScript licensing piece, a little piece of software that you can insert into your application and stop people from stealing it.
So if I understand it correctly, it's basically like a way to have people pay for the apps that they could otherwise get that are purely web-based and don't route through the App Store.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the name of the site?
Actually, H5 app. I'm calling it HTML5. No, H5 marked. HTML5 marked.
So it's like your own app store then.
What? It's not an app store. It's a website.
Okay.
So the apps on that site will be savable to your phone, and the same app will run on Apple, Android, anything that's HTML5. So BlackBerry, the newer Nokias, it will run. The same app will run on all the newer platforms.
So I go to your site, I download the app to my Android,
Yeah.
and then I'm paying through you. I'm not paying through Apple.
That's correct.
And if I'm now on the other side, I'm the one that developed it, then I get the revenue from your site back to me as a developer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would be taking at most 10%. Right.
So how do you prevent stripping out your JavaScript code? That is HTML.
Yeah. Well, they would have to be able to. It's not going to be that easy to strip it out. I guess if you did, it'd be tricky. But because the whole app has to come down, and you're downloading it to a phone, right? So it's not like you have full developer tools at that point. Not impossible, but it'd be very difficult. And I presume most people wouldn't do that for 50 cents or $1 app. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time, unless it was like
Crack
$100
that dollar app.
What?
Crack that dollar app.
Yeah,
That's what I do, man.
yeah. I spent 20 hours cracking a $1
from
app.
you every day, boy.
Yeah, are there other apps or solutions for this that exist? How do other people deal with it?
Most people go through the Apple Store and the Android Store, so they're not. And you see, that is free. The HTML5 stuff is free right now, so there's no licensing that I know of for HTML5.
So not even like one-off like premium content companies are making some sort of HTML5 app that they charge something for. I mean, people must be doing something.
Well, most people aren't doing HTML5. They're just going to the That's why there's 300,000 applications on the Apple Store.
Right. But I mean, there must be other people who are doing mobile payment through a third party, not the App Store. You know what I mean?
There's WebJar, but then those are jar applications.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few other ones, but they're also charging 30%.
Yeah. But then there's also a lot of the telecom providers are making their own app stores too.
Yeah, but those aren't HTML5. Again, those are native apps.
It just seems like there's too many app stores, and then like we don't need another app store.
Yeah, there's that point.
Well,
We need the best app store. Go, Alvin.
Well, you want the cheapest apps.
No, but the
Right.
real value, again, there is value in the ability to restrict access to it and to require payment. And if you make it as simple as possible, it works. It just has to be super simple.
So there's a set of companies that are doing billing in the cloud. Zuara is one of those companies.
Yes.
And it seems like if this license, it seems like they have the leverage. People are coming to them, hey, do my billing in the cloud. And they're looking for companies with some scale of what service they're providing to the consumer or to enterprises. If you're packaging up a licensing technology that they could offer as you basically be an OEM provider to them, and they could distribute and license.
They're really expensive.
Sorry?
They're really expensive.
Well, I'm just saying it's an angle to take a piece of code.
Sure.
You just have some code you're trying to bundle.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to build your own business, OEM that code into somebody that may not have time to develop it themselves. If, the level of effort and sophistication of what you've done is something they couldn't pull off pretty quickly.
Their licensing model wouldn't work with something like, say, $1 a month or $2 a month. Their software as a service, they're pretty expensive.
No. Their goal is to provide any billing model to a company that wants to use them to give the consumer or enterprise the bill and then collect upon that. So I would argue that actually if you have different licensing models available in your licensing code, that it actually would fit in as an OEM to them pretty well. I mean, it might be easier than building the mindshare for an app store.
What are the barriers you have in front of you right now?
Well, there aren't as many HTML5 apps, probably because they can't monetize right now. But it's coming along. Like there's a bunch of web builder kits like Sencha and other things that enable you to make very good apps that coming along. And also the currently, like for example, Android HTML5 performance isn't as good as the iPhone. But if you use say JQ Touch or Sencha, you can make an iPhone app that looks almost, well, actually exactly the same as a native app on iPhone for less cost and less time because you don't have to do Objective-C and stuff like that.
So I actually nobody else has seen this but me. I actually just built there actually is an IdeaKick app. It's an HTML5 app. It was one of these, I saw this article on TechCrunch this week about the company that let you do this. It was just drag and drop. It's pretty simple. I tried it out. Interestingly enough, the load time was fairly long, which I found remarkable for a web app. I mean, even on Wi-Fi, it took a long time to, like 7 seconds long to load up, which doesn't seem like much, but when you're sitting there going 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, it's a long time.
Yeah. There's nothing particular with technology that requires it to take a long time to load. Mm-hmm. Maybe your toolkit didn't do it well. Mm-hmm. One thing is, if you decide to download it, right, besides just loading it,
right,
decide to download it, it's going to pull all the stuff that you potentially might use.
Right.
So if you have a lot of pictures that aren't on the front page that you're forcing to be downloaded, it will take quite a while.
Right.
But that's
so you'd want to set it up in such a way that it didn't pull all that at first, like do it down the road,
That's
like
right.
when on demand when you need it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
just smart app design.
Right.
Like anything else, technology can perform poorly if you don't do it right.
Right.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Your brain works
You
really
got
fast.
time. Whoa, you got time left. You got time left. I'm gonna keep firing questions until this thing goes off. You're on the hot seat for at least another minute and 4 seconds.
I have a question. Just
Go.
What are your favorite apps that you recommend now for us? Like, what do you think are the most fabulous apps out there? Android.
I'm not a good person to ask because, like the only app I've ever bought was to monitor my Amazon service, Amazon cluster. You know, so I have a lot of technical stuff.
Wait, do you have the Trimmer Pills app?
What?
Do you have the
No.
Trimmer Pills app?
Oh,
They don't have one, but they would love one.
Yeah, no.
So there's actually an app for that. It's called AppsFire, and it'll show you popularity as well as let you share peer-to-peer your apps.
thanks, Rob.
Is that the one that was written about very recently, I think, by Mossberg in the Wall Street Journal? I know there's a way now that
It's got a
to
pretty big
really-
buzz. Yeah,
it's called AppsFire.
AppsFire.
Well, while we're at here's a really quick one that I've almost got written. But how does the idea of encrypted Twitter sound? Because see, I see no value in Twitter, but I see a value in hiding.
You got to come to the next idea kick. Sorry.
Yeah.
That is time. Well done. Thank you.